Evan. Mac Thomas was my dad. Average dad. To someone who didn't know my dad, this might seem an odd thing to bring to his memorial. Dad had this hat custom made himself. It's a reflection of his often misunderstood sense of humor. At surface, it seems like self-deprecation, but my dad wasn't really self-deprecating. It's actually the opposite. This is a boast. You see, my dad was a good father. Capital G, capital F, good father. There's a temptation to say great father, but there's really no need for such grandiose embellishment. To be a good father is enough. Good father is a phrase that gets casually tossed around a lot. It's spoken in the same breath as a good cook or a good gardener. Incidentally, he was both of those things as well. But above all, Mac Thomas was a good father, which is a role, a mantle, that is deeper, older, more fundamentally human than almost any other role that a man can play. Being a good father isn't a talent or a single skill. It is a dedication, a pouring of oneself into the well-being of others. It's the act of becoming a conduit for goodness and channeling that love into family. It is an exclusive institution. Selfish men, ineffective men, unwise, unreliable men need not apply, because to be a good father is to defy these descriptors by definition. This is not to say that good fathers make no mistakes, as they're very human, but their fundamental dedication and love is steadfast and unwavering. To be a good father is to move through this world sowing the seeds of goodness into an unseen future. And just as evil famously begets evil, goodness is self-perpetuating. And compared to its antithesis, its spread is wider and its roots run so much deeper. Now, I am not a father, so this definition of what makes a good father, like so many other pieces of wisdom, I learned solely through watching my dad's example. From history to science, engineering to craftsmanship, to being a steward of nature, my dad was a great teacher. Were he here with us, he'd interject here to remind us that he had a master's degree in teaching. He taught me so much of what I know, but even in my 33 years, I never even felt that I'd scratched the surface of his knowledge. Yet, at basis, there was one core piece of wisdom that defined him, and that was simply this: through devotion comes fulfillment. My dad reveled in being a good father, and as a result, his life was marked by contentment and peace, far more often than not. Our society has come to define success in many false ways, but long before there was currency or economies or even societies, there were good fathers, men tuned into that power of goodness that we have named God. There are men who choose to let that power flow through them and out into the world. At the end, when all that is material and all ego falls away, that power is the only wealth that counts in this world. And through both of my parents, I have felt it lighting every day of my life. My dad knew with certainty that he was a good father because he saw the undeniable proof in his 3 children. He proclaimed himself an average dad because in his eyes, being a good father was par for the course of living a good life. His extraordinary success was just his passing grade. He believed in a world in which being a good father is the average. Repeatedly in recent days, people have approached me to express the same sentiment. Your father was a good man. They know this through witnessing Dad's desire to improve the world around him, to soothe the pain of the troubled, and to build a better human community. I know it to be true, because although it is possible to be a good man without being a father, it is simply not possible to be a good father without first being a good man. Similarly, I know through reflecting on Dad's life that one cannot live as a good father without incidentally becoming a truly successful man along the way. When I was 7 or 8, my dad taught me to ride a bike. He shopped around and inquired with friends and neighbors until he found the perfect one. It was green and black, coaster brakes, just my size. We brought it home, and he installed a handle brake, and he added a leather banana seat with a stainless steel handle at the back. He took me outside our home on Grove Street, and he gripped that handle to steady me and keep me upright as I pedaled up and down the road. He did this for maybe 20 minutes at a time over the course of a few days. Finally, one day, as he gripped the handle and I pedaled, I heard him call my name. And when I glanced back, I was shocked to see him standing a dozen yards back as I rode under my own balance. I remember a moment of cold panic, but it was washed away when I saw the prideful smile on his face. 2 weeks ago, for the first time in my life, since the moment of my birth, I felt that steadying hand fall away from my life. And yet, when I look back, I still see him in perfect detail, standing tall and strong and smiling at me with love and pride, satisfied in the knowledge of lessons taught and goodness transferred and multiplied. My dad, Mac Thomas, was a good father. And just as I have loved him reflexively and intrinsically every day of my life to this moment, I will continue loving him for every day that lies ahead. I love you, Dad.